One thing I wanted to talk about on tonight's show anyway was Thiago Alcântara. Now, Jurgen Klopp in his press conference again was asked about Thiago, and he did say that, from Jurgen Klopp, that Jurgen Klopp is unsure if Thiago Alcantara will be able to play again this season for Liverpool, saying it's not a short-term thing and there's no time frame for Thiago's return. Now, that 13 or so minutes against Arsenal looks an absolute luxury now compared to what we now have is the fact that Thiago isn't around at all now. And it probably is the end of his Liverpool career. Now, look, I'd love the fact if we had a fully fit Thiago for next season. It would be perfect if we could have, full of his powers, no injuries Thiago. But the fact he's on 200k a week, the fact that Liverpool, I think last season, was under the impression of, this is his final year, it's done. And you just look at this season, at the start, it was said he was going to come back in pre-season, then it was the delay, he came back, and then 13 minutes against Arsenal, and that's it for the season. And I was having a conversation with the boys about this. For me, I think Thiago might retire at the end of the season because it's not the hamstring. Of course, what Jurgen's alluding to. It's not his hamstring that was the suggested rumor while he was out. Of course, it's supposedly his hip again, which again you might not ever return from that. Just to take it a little bit away from football. I think if anyone's a tennis fan, I think Andy Murray got his hips done, and I think as he said, he's never felt the same way from that. And I know tennis and football are completely different sports, but with Thiago, the way he plays as well, and the way he's spoken before about his hips, he said that he's surprised he'd be able to walk in 20 years, and that's concerning, of course, for Thiago. But for me, he might go to Saudi, he might go to the MLS, he might go somewhere around there. But I think in terms of Thiago Alcantara being at the top level of football, I do think that's it for him. And it is a real shame because I love Thiago, I love the player Thiago Alcantara, but it is just a shame the way he's gone. And when we speak about him in terms of where does he fit under Jurgen Klopp signings, for me, he definitely doesn't go in the best category out there. It's probably a draw between him and Naby Keita on who's probably the worst with injuries, unfortunately. And look, I wish him all the best. If it is his last Liverpool game ever, I wish Thiago the best, because I think that end period that we got for Thiago in the 21-22 season, that was one of the best midfielders performances in that time that I think we've ever seen in terms of just game in, game out. It was a 9 out of 10 performance. And I hope that Thiago gets back to that level in some capacity, but I just have that fear that it might be the end for Thiago in any football capacity.